Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 12 of King City. So, in the last episode, our population surpassed 500,000 people, and that was a milestone of itself. So, if you've missed that episode, feel free to go through my channel and take a look through it. And if you're interested to see how we got here and how our city grew to this point, I have recorded everything, so you can go through my channel from episode 1 and kind of catch up. Now, that being said, I do think it's time to build a university for our city. We have built a college in the previous episodes, but we've never built a university. And now that we're over 500,000 people, I think it is only fair to go ahead and build a university. So I went ahead and kind of explored the different options we have in terms of different universities. And what I had in mind was to go with a building that had a presence. It would kind of stand out. So I was thinking of going with this one, which is kind of like a more classical and older architecture. But just size-wise, I just didn't really think it would fit into this area. And I did decide to go with the area right in front of the buildings by the water, just because we have a metro station right there, so public transit access would be great here. And we're also by the waterfront, which I do think is a good location for a university to be. So I ended up going with the one I've already placed here, which I think is the technical university, if I'm not mistaken. I was also seriously considering putting either this building down, which I think is some sort of a research center, and there was also this other one, but they just don't fit into this area. And I was already kind of decided on the location. I didn't want to place it anywhere else, just because I want this area to be developed before I kind of extend into other parts of the city. So therefore I decided to go with the technical university. Now, is the building the nicest this game has to offer? Probably not. But once I kind of went through all the upgrades that are available for the building, I realized that you can place as many as you want beside the university. So I thought I could kind of play around with that and use that to kind of fill this whole area. At first, I built the 6-lane road in the center, and I was trying to locate the buildings on either side. But then it just looked kind of off to me, so I decided to place the university building the way I feel like it looks good, and then kind of go from there and start building around it, both in terms of the roads and the upgrades for the university. So that kind of took some time for me. Now I do place the university at some sort of an angle towards the water, just because when I would place it by one of these roads, it just wouldn't look the best. So I did place it at kind of the same angle as the buildings behind it. I just felt like they would complement each other much nicer and much better this way. And once you zoom out, it would just look more cohesive and better altogether. Okay, so now we have the basic layout of our university. And again, one of the reasons why I did place it here was because of the metro station we have right there. So, one of the first things I'm going to do is build the pedestrian walkway right from the metro station into the university. I think it just makes the most sense to have this walkway where students and anyone who will be visiting the university can just get off that station and walk into the campus. Also, another benefit this location has is that um, this metro station in particular is one of the, I think, only two stations that has both of the metro lines running through it. So that is obviously a bonus to have both lines running through here. So that's just greater access for people trying to get to this place. Now, in terms of how the campus is going to look like, we'll be putting down a lot of trees all around the campus and also a lot of walking pathways. We're going to have many connections from the surrounding streets into the campus, and they'll all be lined with trees. I just think it makes it look much nicer. And also, we are pretty close to the water. I want the whole theme of nature to be very significant here. I'll also be utilizing a lot of the smaller parks in this area just to make sure we also get the benefit it provides for the people living in this area. Okay, so this is pretty much going to be it for our university. The campus is basically complete now. I was thinking of putting a parking garage uh, somewhere close to the university, but I think we're fine. I don't necessarily think we need one. But what I will focus on is the area in front of the university. I do want to create some housing here that sort of mimics dorms. And I'll also be putting in a sporting center, which is unrelated to the university, but when you have a bird's eye view of the place, it kind of looks like it is part of the campus with the soccer fields it has. So I think it kind of works pretty good altogether. When I was building the college campus, I went in with medium density North American buildings to mimic the dormitories. But here for the university, I decided to go in with the high density European buildings. I think they do a fair job representing the dorms, and we'll just have to pretend that they are dorms. So, in the previous episode, we put down the Citizen Center, and I mentioned that I might be moving that just because I wasn't too sure if it would fit into that main street there. And I decided to move it here. I think it blends in pretty nicely with the surrounding buildings and the university campus. And I also did zone some high density offices. Now I will be removing some of them just because I wasn't too happy with how they look like. But the idea behind it was that they would most likely be serving the needs of the university and the citizen center here. So all the buildings that are replicating the dormitories are now fully built, and honestly I don't mind them, so we'll be keeping them, at least for now. Now I'm going to bring my attention to this corner here, and we'll be going in and creating another park here. As I've mentioned in the previous episodes, I just enjoy having these parks in between all these apartments. I mean, realistically, if you were to take into account the number of buildings we have here, the number of high density buildings we have here, that would mean that we have quite a lot of people living here. Now, aside from what the game tells us in terms of how many people live here or what the population is, I feel like it would be more in real life, just because if you have a building that is 20 stories tall, you're not going to have 60 people living in them. I do think there will be more people in them. I don't know, I could be wrong. But that is why I go in with these parks. Wherever I see we are lacking some green space. And I just thought the shape of this area, it would go for a perfect park in between. And what I usually tend to do is I place a few different parks from the game, and then I use the walking pathways to connect them, and then use trees for detailing to give it a complete look. I also did use some of the props from the game. We have some food stands, and then there was this small stage that I placed. We can pretend that this park hosts some events and people can come down here to grab something to eat and perhaps watch a very little performance just because the stage is pretty small. Like, it's this guy here. It doesn't even look like a stage, but it will have to do for now. And then I use the sports seating to kind of give it some spaces for the audience to sit. So it is what it is. Too bad that people won't be using it. I wish people would go and at least sit on the chairs, but it's nice from far away. Now, as I was going through the buildings, especially the ones we still haven't placed in the city, I realized we have some that are still locked and we haven't purchased. So I went in and unlocked the Health Research Institute, which I am planning to place very close to the college campus, sorry, the university campus. And once I placed the building down, I realized that it has a pretty nice architecture and it would probably be a nice fit to the area. I just enjoy having buildings with unique architecture close to the waterfront. I just feel like it gives it a distinctive look. And aside from how the building looks like, I also think it makes sense to have this building close to our university. After all, it is a research center, so they could probably be related in some sort of a way. Now, looking through the area, I realize I don't really like the offices we have close to the sport complex, so we'll be getting rid of those. They just don't fit in. I think this building will be a much nicer fit. Now, at first, I was trying to see if I could place it on this side, but then I thought it would probably work best if I just remove the offices we have and then move them closer to the university. Now, this little area, I'm not sure what happened to the time when I was building it. I either stopped recording or deleted the footage by mistake, but it's just a very simple area with medium density European apartments and obviously in a great location, close to everything. I did also zone this big guy here. This is a high density European apartment. Um, Again, the reason why I went in with such a tall building here, we are right across the hospital and we have a metro station. I'm also going in with these small high density offices. They're all 2 by 2 tiles. I just want to kind of eat away at the demand we have. And back to this area, I did go in and zone a similar apartment to the one we have. I did have to bulldoze a few buildings to get the large one I was looking for, one similar to the one we already have. But we were successful at the end. And back to the research institute, we'll be going in again with some detailing, obviously some walkways, and then a whole lot of trees. Also, a few different parks and seating areas for anyone that may be working here or that is visiting the area. Okay, so this area is almost complete, and this is kind of the final look for it. Now, let me know how you feel about this area, if you like it, if you don't like it. What I personally like about it is that it kind of looks as if it's part of the university campus, and it's some sort of a continuous campus all the way to the research institute. And I am happy with that. Now, if you've watched my previous episodes, you know that we have a significant shortage of elementary schools in our city, and I've just kind of been falling behind in terms of demand. So I'm going to take the opportunity and put a few different schools down here. We'll be doing one high school and 3 elementary schools at an attempt to kind of solve the issue we have, especially for our elementary schools. I think after this high school, we're doing all right in terms of high school capacity, but we are still pretty behind for elementary schools. Okay, so we're going to be wrapping up episode number 12 of King City. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, a special thanks to you. Feel free to leave me a comment, give me any suggestions, both in the way I play the game and in the way I record the game. I would love to hear from you guys. And also feel free to go through my channel, watch any previous episodes, and kind of catch up on how we got here in the game. All that said and done, thanks again, and all the best.